Welcome back, Addicts. I'm here with Michael, and we're going to be going over our review of Kakegurui.
Yeah, gambling anime?
Yeah,
on
gambling
Netflix?
anime on Netflix. Yeah, it's a Netflix original. Sorry if I butchered that name. I'm terrible at these ones that are not even remotely
Yeah,
English.
I don't know why I make him do all the names since he's not...
It's more entertaining, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that might be something you guys watch. But anyway, we're going to jump right into it. Basically, to give you kind of an idea of what this anime is about, it follows this high-end school that has a gambling underring, and it follows this girl who just transferred, and you'll figure out she's a little crazy. She's a bit unique compared to the other people, and as she's kind of learning more about the school, she basically wants to, I guess, tide over her addiction. So she goes up against the student council to battle against them in gambling, because they are basically the highest ranked people in the gambling world in the school. So I'm going to let Michael talk about each of the characters.
So as Josh stated earlier, basically the entire show follows her battles versus the student council, similar to like Kill la Kill. I think has a similar format where you go. But this one kind of the ending is a little bit different. But so you have Yumiko, that's the main transfer student. She's really good at gambling and really good at being lucky, I guess.
Yeah, it's she's really interesting. We'll talk about more.
We'll talk more about her, but yeah, she's kind of the main character who's not normal, I would say. None of these people are normal except Ryota. He's kind of the class representative, and he's who you get introduced to. He's just like a normal student who happens to be going to a gambling school because it is more promising for his future, basically. And then you have Mary, who's kind of one of the individuals in their classroom who ends up becoming an enemy at first, and then a friend, sort of an ally to Yumiko. Yeah, to Yumiko towards the end, especially in one particular gambling match.
Yeah, that was a great episode.
It was.
So yeah, I guess those are about all the ones that we'll get into depth, because mainly the other characters that you get introduced to is the student council, but those are, I would say, better if you just get introduced to them when you watch it.
Yeah.
So we'll skip over that, but we're gonna get into our personal highlights, which I can start us off.
Yeah.
Some of the things, right off the bat, when you first start this show, one of the things that really grabbed me was the intro. And I love this intro. It's something it's kind of creepy, I guess, if you're because it does have some sensual things in it, like the rest of the show kind of does. But
Food Wars-esque.
Yeah, but I really like it because it has kind of like that old-timey casino type vibe, and like the music, and then I really love the animation. I think the animation style, especially in the intro, just gives it that nice, really flamboyant type feel. And I don't know, for me it's just like I listen to that every episode just because it was that good. So I have intros that ranked really high for me. The main chick, Yumiko, she is by far one of the most interesting character, because in a story like this where there's not a whole lot of really crazy stuff, in terms of life or death, people killing each other, your characters have to be really interesting and unique. And the main chick is I don't know, to me it's just really interesting because she's really skilled, but her skill is not the thing that really gives her the upper hand. And I'm not going to give that too away because you'll see, especially I think it's in the first episode you get kind of introduced to what I'm talking about. But that's something I really liked. But in terms of moments, I really like how she's willing to sacrifice things, and because she's you come across as a compassionate character, but at the same time can be just as ruthless as some of the other people you see. So there's not really a good or a bad person. Most of them are in this gray area.
Some of them are kind of horrible people.
Yeah, but you kind of understand because of their background. But like you said, there's some that are complete garbage human beings. Yeah. But what about you, Michael? What are some of your?
I'm trying to keep this spoiler free, so I won't get into specifics of who she's going against. But I think there's one scene where it's like a match. It's like a memory game with cards towards the beginning. I think it's like the second or third episode. Maybe it is even the first. I'm not sure.
I think that's the second person she goes against. So yeah.
But the stakes. It's like the first time you understand that the stakes can sometimes be in this show be like pretty high.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you figure out it's not just money involved. So, which I mean, you kind of had a glimpse of that in the first episode with Ryota. But you kind of see an expanded version of that later on.
Yeah, the student council are all pretty crazy, to be honest. If I had to compare Yumiko to one person, it'd probably be the protagonist from Classroom of the Elite, the guy there.
Yeah.
She kind of has emotions, though, I guess. But it's all centralized around gambling, whereas in Classroom Elite, he doesn't really have any emotions.
She only gets upset or off on gambling situations.
But I feel like she has friends, which is kind of different, you know? Like
it's so weird that she does, because like you would think like a lot of the people she interacts with would be like so scared of her. But
yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty. But another favorite moment. I don't want to give away too much towards the end. I like how just the general pattern in the gambling show where there's gonna be. More than meets the eye with each gambling competition.
Well, and like I mean, staying kind of spoil free. Like if you're thinking like when you think of gambling, you think just like poker. Like that's I mean there is poker in this game, but there's a lot of variety in like the games and matches they do.
Mm-hmm.
And
tarot cards.
Yeah, and some of them are
Russian roulette.
Really interesting and complicated. I mean, they're not like so complicated that you can't follow. I mean, because they're really easy to follow, especially when they're telling you how the game works. But still, though, you're thinking like if you're just told this like for the very first time, and then she's doing this, you're just like blown away.
Yeah, I mean the one that I probably didn't understand at all is the one with it has like the throw swords or whatever, and it's like almost like a roulette kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like the roulette wheel, but instead it uses which I don't even know like. And, like, I mean, obviously you figure out some things about how that game works, but first glance, we're like, how does how physics-wise does that work enough to where they could have it matched so much? But anyway, getting into, like, that, without going into, like, too much spoilers of, like, how the actual match went, what were some of your favorite matches in terms of, like, who you went up against?
Well, the main antagonist, there's still some left at the end of the show. So after all the student counts, I'd probably have to do the one where with the guy where he has to specifically like. It's like the game's chance, but if you have more money, you have like more chance to win. Basically, it's a card game, I think, where it's like you have to pick if your opponent has higher or lower cards. I don't remember the rules specifically, but it was interesting because. They're just, gambling, maybe like it's still a lot of money, but maybe like $1 million US or whatever. And then he's like, I will bet my entire life and future on this. So it's pretty great. Yeah. That one's pretty intense. Yeah, I think that's probably the moment I would pick out.
That's a really good one. For me, I would say my top two were probably both student council members. One was the vice president, and the other one you'll see. You see both of these in like the intro. I'm not gonna give them specifics like what their match is, but like, and then like the one-eyed chick, like that one's probably my favorite one just because of how escalated it is. But
she's the craziest in all the show.
Yeah, and her reaction is gold, and how they interact with each other is pretty great. So I mean, honestly, all of the matches I really liked. Getting into kind of like our recommendation and rating, I will say that the very ending is a little underwhelming after you figure out what their game is compared to the other ones that she did. But at the same time, they did it in a way where they left it open to where they could do a second season, which I'm not sure if they're going to. But if they,
I think it's been announced, but I haven't heard anything past.
Yeah, I did notice on Netflix before we started this review that they put up the live action version of the show this year. And it's weird because, I mean, I'm not going to watch it because I'm not into the live action adaptations of anime typically. But it's weird because the live action one is only like half of the season in the anime, which is I found weird. But I really hope they do come with a second season because the way they left it off, I mean, it was still good and I still liked how it played out and left off. But I wanted to see a bigger finale to this, especially given how crazy and escalated the other ones were.
Yeah.
So, but I would definitely highly rate this. I mean, I can't say so much because I'd have to look back at all of the other shows I've watched and really go in depth. But I would say, just off the top of my head, I would say it's in my top 10. Of course, keep in mind I haven't watched a whole lot of anime or finished a lot of series, but I did really like this. I think these shows are like harder to get more satisfaction out of when they're condensed into like real world circumstances, you know? Well, I mean, you know what I mean, bound by reality. And so that, I think that factor is what made it really high on my list. Plus, they have characters that I really did like, I connected to, I found them really interesting. And as somebody that likes playing a lot of card games and like gambling, like it was really cool seeing like the different ones. And I actually want to write down them, and then like play them later and see just how complicated they would be. To
do. Not the 2-deck matching game though. That's awful.
That'd be crazy. I definitely wouldn't bet money on that one.
No. I agree. I think since I've watched so many shows, I put it in a different category. I would say it's probably in my top 10 non-action and non-romance anime. So if I had to take like all the ones where people die horrible deaths, and all the ones that I like, they're like romance, like slice of life shows, I think it's up there with the rest of them.
And that's fair considering how many you've watched.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I like Classroom of Elite a little bit more. Maybe because I like the girl in that show. Not to talk too much if you guys haven't seen it, but I like the girl in that show more than I like the guy in this one. The guy in this one's super cool in the beginning because you get to like someone to anchor to reality or like what's going on.
Yeah, I get you.
In the end, he's like, "Why are you here?"
Well, I mean, you kind of understand. Like,
I understand he has a purpose, but I just didn't. He wasn't my favorite character. I guess.
I understand you. Yeah.
So, if I had to give it like an actual number out of 10, I'd probably 7.5 is probably fair for me.
Okay, I would probably go 8, which is not far off. I just liked some things a little bit more. But, I mean, that's still a great, we're not too far off, so that gives you guys a good estimate. It's something I definitely would say, go check it out, especially if you have Netflix. It's only 13 episodes, right? So
13, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I watched it all in, like, a day, I think. Well, in, like, terms of, like, 7 hours. So I binged the show. I think the first time I watched it too. So yeah, so it's really an easy one to binge watch too. So, but yeah, guys, that would basically conclude our video of Kakegurui. Yeah. Kakegurui. I'm gonna mess that up again. But
gambling anime the show.
Yeah, gambling anime the show. Also, keep in mind. Since he brought it up, Class of the Week, we will be reviewing that sometime. I'm not going to say specifically when because we have watched it, but it's been a while, so we're going to probably want to go back.
Yeah, go back, get some notes.
Yeah, get some notes. But check that out if you got that reference. So, but anyway, guys, that'll be it for today. You can check us out on all of our social media accounts. We're on Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud.
Yeah, pretty much anything you can think of. Just released a new podcast, so check that out.
Yes, we did. If you want to go to SoundCloud, you can either search Addict Informative or you can search our podcast name, which is Intervention Prevention.
It'll be in the description, link in the description.
Yeah, link will be in the description. So anyway, guys, we'll see you guys later.
See ya.